Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes, he did.
And he be doing it, and I think he know why he be doing it. But we gonna talk about that he be doing it, and then we don't be doing it. And should we do it? But why we ain't gonna do it? I feel like
all of it. All of it.
Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Keep in mind, if you are used to listening to us, you can now watch us because we record the podcast remotely and we do it via Zoom. So you can go to our YouTube page and you can see us saying all of this, or maybe you don't want to see us and you just like listening. However it go, we appreciate you being a part of the Oh No Girl Yes community. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Keep in mind, we are getting ready for another episode of First Date, which is our online virtual dating show. So if you are a young man or you know of a single young man that might want to participate, women, you can still send us your information, but right now we have more women than men. Go figure. Who knew? Who knew it'd be hard to find a man? Oh yeah, that's right. I listened to the podcast. Also, thank you to our Patreon listeners. Let me say, our Patreon listeners got a real treat last week. So if you are not a Patreon subscriber, click on that link to find out more information about how to become a Patreon subscriber so you can get more of the behind the scenes.
Yeah. You can go to patreon.com and search the podcast, Oh No Girl Yes, and they'll sign you right on up.
There you go. All right, so today's topic, we kind of alluded to, I think, in a previous Patreon episode, and we were talking about why is it that when men who are not single approach us or pursue us, we generally shut it down when we realize he's not single. But why don't we ever try to inform his significant other of his activities? Because we shut him down. Everybody ain't shutting him down.
Right.
So we had a couple of theories. We were joking about having an exposure and closure session where we just hit up women whose dudes are trying to holler. And it's like, look, I don't know. Y'all might have an arrangement. You might not care. You might already know. But as woman to woman, as a sisterhood, I would like to let you know your man is in my inbox. Here's the screenshot. Do with it as you will.
He's trash.
He's trash, girl. And you might not have known. Now, is that a good or bad thing to do?
You know, I mean, like you said, historically, that's not something we do. I don't know a lot of people who do it, you know?
Right.
So when we discussed this a few weeks ago, I felt like we were doing the women a disservice by not exposing people. Because I think what frustrates me the most about this is, you know, social media connects us all, whether we're, you know, friendly or not. And you see these posts, my queen, my rock, my this, my everything. Well, if she was your everything, you wouldn't be in my inbox.
That part. Yeah.
It drives me crazy.
As a single who we're out here looking for a great situation to be in a couple, we would hope and pray that if we did get someone to be our significant other, that they would not then continue to be in other women's inboxes.
Right. That's the thing. And that's I hate for people to look foolish.
Right.
And a lot of times these men are making their women, be it their girlfriend or their wife, mainly their wives, look foolish. And how
many of them know? How many of them?
And that's what I was about to say. Now, there may be a percentage of people or women who actually know this and don't worry about it, whatever, but I'm like, you could not know and be like, you know, I love this. I mean, I don't know. To each his own. I just get tired of it.
So we're basing this off of men who are in relationships who have, let's say, pursued us. I'm going to use an example you gave me.
Okay.
It's not that anything happened between you and a guy, but you have been in communication with someone. Y'all are friends. Nothing else has happened beyond that. But when you saw him share something about his queen, you were surprised that you didn't know there was a queen in his life.
Right. And the things that the way he spoke to me sometimes made it seem like he didn't have a queen in his life. Right. Nothing happened. It was nothing inappropriate. But I think as a girlfriend, if I was the queen, I'd be like, well, why were you communicating with this person? And why were you even seeing, like, we saw each other a couple of times.
Right.
Again, nothing happened.
Nothing happened, but he was flirty in his interactions.
Yes. And intentional, you know. So So yeah, it just popped up, and I'm like, well, that's odd.
Right. That's kind of how this conversation started, I think, because it's like, well, would you then reach out to this woman who has been tagged as his queen and say, girl, this picture surprised me because he was at my house on this and that day. Then that happened, but I didn't know he had a queen, and he didn't ever tell me he had a queen, and I don't know if you like the
and
same.
We had even discussed the fact that who you're dating, who's this, and who, you know,
and
nothing.
And you just say, you know what, I don't know if you like the same kind of wine I like, or if this is your wine he brought me.
He did bring wine one night.
Why would you be wrong? Somebody would say that you would be wrong to reach out to this woman that you do not know. Nothing happened. So I feel like people would say, well, you would be wrong because nothing happened.
Right.
Nothing happened. You said nothing happened, so why are you telling this woman this? Nothing happened.
Right. I mean,
but why should you tell her?
My intentional, this, maybe not this situation, I probably wouldn't. You know, if something did happen or something like that, then I think I would be in my right to. However, like I said, I've never done it. I think that it's all about letting men off the hook. We've talked about that a lot in the past few weeks.
No accountability.
In different situations. They don't have any accountability. And as long as they're allowed to continue doing the things that they're doing and they think they're sneaking, they're going to continue to do it. But if you put them on notice and say, hey, I'm not the one. And there may be others out here like this besides me who won't take this and not spill the beans.
So how do we say, I'm going to make an example out of one man. I'm going to let the rest of y'all figure out how this is going to go when you slide in my inbox.
So, yeah. And so I feel, you know, so that one side of me says that would be helpful. They can then build their relationship and he can stay out of people's inboxes because he's scared of the consequences at least.
But do you think it would make him stop or it just make him not put it on paper? If he's doing it, he gonna figure out.
No, well, I don't know. Yeah, so that and so that's the other side of it. It's like, does it really matter? Because if he gonna cheat regardless. It ain't got to be with me. It could be with somebody else. You ain't the only one that he reached out. Right. So that's the other side of it. But when we were talking about this,
you might be the only one he didn't get no prey from, but you know, you probably the only one he reached out to.
Exactly. So, but when we were talking about this the other day, it was just like, why do we not? You know, why don't we? And why? Huh?
Yeah, why don't we? Now, it's a couple of reasons. Okay, so I will say, in my experience, when I've had men who have significant others, the way they have reached out to me, like I had one, a city council person for a city in Alabama. And I didn't know this person, but they were a fan of my work, you know, kind of thing. And so someone told me this person was a fan of my work. And so because I, you know, had respect for that person, I just reached out and was like, hey, such and such told me you were a fan. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so he responded, oh, I can't believe she told you. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, you know, get a kick out of you, X, Y, Z. And then it was like, oh, we should go to lunch sometime. That's what he said. And I thought, well, why would I ever need to go to lunch with him? So I started going through his page and I'm seeing this family and, you know, I will even see a family. I will still look at the date because you may be so devastated from the divorce or the plane crash that you just ain't deleted this family off your page.
Not the plane crash.
However, your family ain't there no more. However, you are available to be in my inbox asking me to lunch. Wherever this family has disappeared to, I'm checking the dates because sometimes people do have family pictures and it was from 6 years ago and life changed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see this past Sunday's church pictures, yeah, no, so I just said, oh, you know, I'm hard to get for lunch, but, you know, I'm, you know, wish you the best, whatever. And he's like, oh, well, what would you prefer, dinner or drink? Excuse me, counselor.
So is this it? So at this moment, okay, go ahead. Finish your story. Finish it.
I feel like it's an inappropriate interaction for a married man.
I agree. So, and maybe he doesn't, because I feel like, so is it our responsibility to say, hey, aren't you married with a family?
But his thing would be, oh, I want us to talk about business. Or I want to talk about the community.
Not in dinner and drink.
And that's my point. When I used to be in my former life as a publicist for professional athletes, I would set up meetings all the times with agents and financial advisors and athletes. Once I've made my pitch, and once I've told you how much I charge, and once you have all the information you need, we're not going to have another meeting. Because a lot of them be like, oh, well, let's meet up such and such on Thursday night and talk some more. And they thinking because I'm so hungry for the business that I'm just going to be going on these dates. And I would say, listen, unless we have a contract, I'm not available to just keep meeting with you at dinner and drinks. You get one lunch. You get one lunch. Either you want to hire me or you don't. But I had to learn that the hard way.
Right.
I done been on 3, 4 lunches and dinners with the same person and ain't never got no contract. In their world, we done been on 3 or 4 dates.
You trying to get a contract?
And I'm saying, like, but when we gonna move that money though? And let me say this. What I also have heard from that lifetime, after I stopped doing the lunches and meetings because I ain't got no money, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to sound so crass, but you haven't paid for my time. The person then said, months later, I need to apologize to you. I didn't move on that contract because I was attracted to you and I didn't want to mix business with. Now, we'll say in that particular person's defense, he did send me a check those months later for my time. So what I'm saying to you is, as a single woman, and I can even be a married woman, but as a single woman, I think it's inappropriate for men to try to spend time with you when they don't have to. A lot of what we can do now, it could be a phone call, it could be an email,
right?
Group setting. Hey, me and the board want to meet with you about this, or me and my partner, or whatever. But I just feel like because you're putting yourself in a bad situation, whether you have bad intentions or not, I could easily say you did something wrong.
Yeah.
But then why was you there? Well, why was y'all meeting?
Right. And that's a thing that married couples talk about all the time. I think in counseling and stuff, or just between each other. Let's not put ourselves in positions where we have to, you got
to figure it out.
Figure it out.
Right. Now, let's use somebody as an example. Let's say Mike Pence. And he famously said he doesn't talk to women. Out of respect to his wife. I actually think that's disrespectful to women. Because that means you see this human as such a different entity, even lower. You can't even have a conversation with this entity.
Yeah.
What? So we doing business.
Bring him up into the conversation.
Sorry, you start yawning. I'm sorry. I was trying to get you start yawning when I talked about Mike Pence. Okay, I'm just saying. I think there are extremes. I feel like men should not be in women's inboxes. I think men should always express or communicate that they are in a situation, meaning relationship, marriage. And I also think they need to communicate and that I'm not an option for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because some women don't care about a man being in a relationship as much as he don't care.
Yeah.
So as long as you come at me, this ain't, I've had several business relationships with married men. And they never came at me wrong, but they also, because they are respectful married men, they respect the parameters of how we connect, how we interact. Mm-hmm. The wife might be there, cool, whatever. We can do that all day. But anything outside of that, you put yourself in a bad situation, and you also compromising me.
Yeah, exactly.
But so then why don't we pop that game to that wife or that girlfriend?
When we discussed this a few weeks ago, I could not come up with a good enough answer why.
Okay.
I couldn't come up with a good, it wasn't the right thing to do. You know what I mean?
We just don't do it. We don't want to be messy.
Don't want to seem messy. Don't want to appear bitter. Don't want to appear, don't want to be in anybody else's business. Because once you find out that's their business, that's their business.
Right. Be in y'all's business.
Right. Right. Now, and we have had a conversation about this before on the previous podcast in season 1 about, do you speak up if you see something, say something. I think that's exactly what it was.
Somebody else's relationship and
somebody else's stuff.
Go back and tell.
Yeah, and we had mixed reviews about that from wives and girlfriends who said, yeah, tell me. If you my friend, tell me. And others was like,
You don't know. Don't start no mess. And
so it's an awkward position. It's an awkward position for your friend or your family member if you were telling them about something their significant other was doing. I think it would be really awkward for a stranger because you don't want to look like you're trying to break up anything.
Right. Because if you're saying, I don't want him and nothing happened and you ain't trying to get in my business, then why are you in my business?
Exactly.
However, these dudes are getting away with highway robbery.
They are. And
all of us know. How many times you scroll on your social media and you see women referring to the men in their inboxes? Hey, married dudes.
It's so apparent. Like it's going on. Every single woman has had a man that was taken in their inbox. And if you haven't, you lying. You are absolutely lying.
Lying if you saying ain't no betrothed man ever been in your inbox, ladies. But how many ladies then got up in a betrothed man's inbox?
The other way around?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that happens.
Know he got a family, see
that
his family, and CL say, "Oh, but you know what? I'm gonna go on and slide in that inbox."
That happens too.
It does happen.
Does that make it? Does that make it easier for the man then to come to search for that because that's already happening to them?
100%. Listen, the only reason we have side chicks is because you have cheating men. But people always like to put the onus on a side chick. It might be the day after Christmas. You'll see all these memes. Oh, the side chick holiday. Or the day after Valentine's Day. Oh, it's the side chick holiday. Well, first of all, a side chick does not exist in a vacuum. A side chick is only created from a man who is cheating.
Right.
So it's a bunch of single women out here. It's a bunch of single women out here that might be down for whatever. But we ain't a side chick until we meet a cheating man. So start there. But I feel like people do different things based on their history, based on their own motivations. And we not speaking or judging what you doing. However, when we have had men who we know are in relationships or men that we find out later are in relationships and we know that they've probably had some inappropriate communications with us, we're like, we just move on. We just say, oh, well, he's shady. We move on. We've never said, I wonder, does this woman know? And when we say that, we're not saying it to be messy. We're not saying it to be bitter. We're not saying that. We're not even saying that to break up the relationship. But we do not hold these men accountable for any of their behaviors or actions. Right. And so even though you may have shot him down or not giving him no play, he already on to the next one. Right. So I'm torn. I'm 100% torn because I'm very much in, this ain't none of my business. If she getting cheated on, I don't know her. It probably ain't the first time. Yeah. Oh, you know, I hate that she found that type man. I remember with my sociopath that I dated, when his wife emailed me, I felt like, one, she knew that I didn't know about her. Because she explained who she was. She didn't come at me like, you know, he got a wife. That it was like, hey, I'm his wife since 89. Okay. She also knew that we did have a relationship because she asked, is this relationship still going on? So all that told me this wasn't her first rodeo. Because she ain't come at me crazy. She ain't come at me. Woman did it, you know, it was, hey, he been acting different. I saw your email to him. This is who I am. Is it still going on? It was quite respectful for a woman that is emailing another woman.
Well, like you said, she's been through that rodeo before. She's
been through this.
She's a professional. So
why you emailing? So that's the thing. Why you emailing another woman if you ain't going nowhere? So that's kind of how I feel about why would we tell a woman about her man we don't want him.
Yeah, I think that, you know what? I think you just answered my question that I couldn't answer a few weeks ago because I don't want them. So that, but let's say you wanted them. Let's flip it. There's nothing in my mind that would make me want that man. Is that now? Since? Because that wasn't the answer before. Even though Nuthead it was flirty, you wasn't rah-rah about him at all. But what do you mean? You mean like knowing that he has a woman? Queen, I understand that. But I'm saying before you found out about the queen, you were interacting with him. You wasn't rah-rah. No, I get that. Yeah. But you know, my feelings will change at the drop of a hat. That's the thing. Your feelings will change at the drop of a crown. That queen crown, what? No, but that's so that would be a total turnoff for me. Because I'm not naive enough to think that I'm the one that the man ain't gonna cheat on. I'm not naive enough. And is it naive? I'm sorry if that's a bad word. I don't know. No, it's not a bad word, but it goes back to you are so very special, but remember you ain't special. Exactly. She wrote about it in her book. Y'all need to read it. Chapter 1 in my book. But it's that thing of, you know, the inspiration for this podcast was a guy who had told me about his less than heroic behavior in previous relationships. And I would say to him, you be telling me about these previous relationships, but I feel like you're not the hero in these stories. And, oh, that was different. And, oh, that was this many years ago. And, oh, she wasn't like you and all that. And I'm like, was I naive to believe this person is presenting this information to me? Yeah. You know, somebody who kicked a drug habit don't have no problem telling you they used to be on drugs because they passed that.
So they talk about it. They not, that's who I used to be. I tell people that because I want them to know that's part of my story. So a cheater, I have to believe that once a cheater does not mean you're always a cheater.
It's personally believe that. But I'm speaking more, and I guess I'm speaking more of a married aspect as opposed to like, I don't want,
But let's say you wanted him. Let's go back to, let's say you did want him. Would that
and he had a girlfriend.
And you found out he had a girlfriend. Not just that he had a girlfriend. Y'all been interacting and engaging, and you wanted him. You thought, hey, this might be a real option. This might be a shot. And then you see that post, happy birthday to my queen. But you like him and you want him.
No. That my feelings will change.
I feel like
I would be so upset because I wasn't even upset when I saw this, right? Because we hadn't had any kind of interaction like that on that level, so it was fine. It was a shock,
right?
It was a surprise.
Space and opportunity to offer you this information that he had a girlfriend, not only a girlfriend, but somebody he would post on social media.
Because I feel like, and I'm trying to think if the roles were reversed and we had that same interaction before, and then I ended up dating someone. First of all, I probably wouldn't put it on Facebook, so that's number one. But I wonder if I would say, hey, by the way, I'm dating someone.
You would.
I think I would.
You would.
So that in itself is like, you could just give me
But let's say,
you keep going back to this.
I want to go back to that because this is my question. Let's say, I believe if you were interested in him or you liked him and you saw that post, I feel like if you liked him, you at least would have hit him up and be like, dang.
Yeah.
It's like that?
Yeah, I would have definitely hit him up. Okay. But it wasn't even on my radar to do that much. But yes, if I was really interested in him and liked him, I definitely would have sent him a message. Like,
okay. No, I do believe that. I do believe you at least would have said to him. Because you ain't say nothing to him. And has he reached out to you since you saw that? He must have done the math on that one.
No, you know what I did? You know what I did after I talked to you about it? Yeah. So I was a little petty. I liked the pic.
Nice. You did? You didn't tell me you liked the picture.
No, because I didn't do it at the time I talked to you. It may have been, it was like later in the day or something. I was like, I really like this.
Did you like it or love it? You just liked it?
I just liked it.
I would have ha-ha'd it.
I just wanted him to know. And that was my way of saying, without texting, without calling.
Alert to say, she saw this.
Yes. There you go.
Oh, and you ain't heard from him since? Mm-mm. Oh, dudes gets on my nerves. I cannot stand men. I really can't. Y'all, men, we did some of our analytics for the 11% of men that are listening. Thank you for listening, first of all. But can I talk about y'all for a minute? Y'all know this is not a male bashing platform. We love men. That's the inspiration is we love men. We want a man. But let me say this about y'all. Y'all are the worst. Just let me say that. The worst. Okay. This is the thing about men that I don't understand. I probably will never understand it. A man can pursue a woman.
Yeah.
A woman can initially not even be interested, but eventually the woman becomes interested because of the pursuit of this man to this woman.
Right.
And once this woman dials in and gets an attachment and an expectation and say, okay, we're going on this ride, they will then find some kind of way to hurt your feelings. And it's like, I feel like it's a low self-esteem move to need, you're being validated by this person that you pursued. She says, yes, let's do it. But you still need additional validation from some other woman. You need to get some other inbox from somebody. It's still something else you needing. And I'm feeling like that's an internal feeling like you're not good enough.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you feel like you're good enough, I got the one I wanted, we doing this. Because I feel good about myself.
Yeah.
I will give you an example. I just remembered. I've had situations, this is me being honest about myself. I've had situations where I might know somebody is married or in a relationship, and it's not even that we have ever interacted on a personal level that way. I still might want to just see them because I think they're cute. Just be around them. Not because I'm flirting with them, not because I'm trying to be with them, but it's like, ooh, he gonna be over there. I want to go stand over there because I know he gonna be over there. I like to see him work. I like to see his moves. And I have consciously or recently consciously did not take opportunity to see this person move, just because I was like, for what? Why do I want to see him move?
What good is that gonna do?
So, but that's also, again, me realizing, and I mean, I think that's not like earth shattering. It's a lot of people lust after celebrities or people who are married and got kids, and you be like, ooh, let me see Morris Chestnut. I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is. But I'm realizing I don't even need to be nowhere where I get to see him. He ain't never looked at me like that. He ain't never said he wanted me like that. I know he is not an option. I don't even need to put myself in that space and be like, oh, there you go. Growth moment for me. You're welcome. Now, the sad part of this, and we also kind of mentioned this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to be messy. We're not trying to break up their home. Although somebody would say, well, if you're not trying to break them up, what's the point of telling? We just want people to have all the information they can have. And we also feel like men should be held accountable for their behaviors.
I'm just tired of people looking foolish on Facebook.
And even if it ain't so much about the woman looking foolish on Facebook, I'm tired of you thinking I'm foolish enough to deal with you because I see your Facebook.
That's true. But I have a soft spot for the women because because
right. But you telling her something, even in the most noble way, the intention is to cause a problem in her relationship.
It is.
It is.
That's why I don't do it.
Right. So we don't do it. And another reason we don't do it is because folks be crazy out here. And folks be retaliating against folks for stuff. Yeah. Y'all see social media and people be coming up missing and kidnapped and killed. And it's like, well, because she told somebody or she said this or she had a fit. I'm good on all that. So as much as we want to do it, woo, we want to do it. We want to expose y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We value our lives too much because we know all you got to do is find one crazy person to be murdered. You only need one. Yeah. So we're just going to bank on our odds and say delete, block, click like on your picture with your loved one, and keep it moving.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we can do.
Oh, you weren't going to harp on the crazy people? Just because I feel like that should be the number one reason why you don't meddle in other people's businesses, even though they bring you into their business by pursuing you.
Right.
But I think that's the main reason. It's not worth it. It's not worth any kind of retaliation on his part or on her part, regardless if it's a mild reaction or a very severe one like death. It ain't worth it. It
ain't worth it. And I'm thinking now of another person I dated, and they weren't forthright about whatever the home situation was. They were never forthright. And I was, at that point that I interacted with this person and dated this person, I was kind of on this space of, look, I asked this man, he's telling me he's single and available, regardless of if he lying or not. I can only activate on what he's told me. I haven't seen anything to the contrary. But I still kind of believe like he ain't really being completely forthright about whatever the situation is, right? And one of the things that was very glaring about that particular person, I think I was turning 40, and I was having a big party for my 40th birthday in Atlanta, and this guy made a big deal because I didn't invite him. And I was like, well, it's not that I didn't invite you, but it's really just my friends, you ain't my man, you kind of just somebody I see sometime. And he made a big deal about not being invited to Atlanta for my birthday party. So imagine my amazement when I'm on social media on my birthday and I'm seeing all my happy birthday messages. I see a post from him telling his son happy birthday, his little boy, and who he's with. You was never going to be nowhere near Atlanta on my birthday because my birthday is actually his son's birthday.
You just want to know if you got access. That's it. I'm tired of y'all.
You see what I'm saying? It was like, wait a minute, you were never going to be in Atlanta for my birthday. Never in the history of me saying my birthday did he ever say, oh, that's my little boy's birthday. We'll end there because I see you getting mad. I'm about to get mad again too.
Girl.
You're at the worst. Anyway, ladies, let us know what you think. Or have you ever exposed somebody, and how did that go?
Yeah, I would love to know that.
Yeah, we would love to know. Have you ever put a woman on game about her man? Have you ever reached out to another woman? And it could be because you wanted him. It could be because you was trying to break up your family. It could be because you found about it later and you was already in love. It could be whatever reason. We want to know about you saying something to the wife or girlfriend, because people do have arrangements. People do have different setup and scenarios. So you don't know what somebody got going on, what they've agreed to.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we want to hear about that in the comments. So thank y'all for listening to another episode of Oh No Girl Yes. Don't forget, check out patreon.com. You can find Oh No Girl Yes there, and then sign up. Patreon, after we do these episodes every week, we do a separate episode for Patreon. And that episode has a lot more details about our actual lives. Like this one was like, you know, we'll tell you a little bit here and there. But that one, we'd be like, girl, look at this picture. That's what he sent me. It's good stuff. And thank you to our Patreon listeners. And don't forget, you can always watch these on YouTube now. Did I cover all the business of the business? Yes. Thanks for watching. Click like. No. Click love. Don't be petty. Click love, not like, and share the podcast. We so appreciate y'all. Guess we'll see y'all next week on another edition of No, he didn't. Girl.
Yes, he did.